Hello everyone and welcome back to another album review, and in this video I'm going to review Violet Face by Second Still. This is the second album by post-punk and cold wave trio Second Still, which was released by Fabrika Records. And this is actually how I learned about Second Still and how I learned about this release coming out, because I truly like some of the stuff Fabrika Records put out. I think that especially for a Greek label, they have some excellent post-punk and dark wave works in their catalog, and some of them are truly some of the most unique and some of the most engaging you can find this decade. So I look up to anything the label is going to release, and I was happy with the release of Isolated Youth from this year. I found this to be a solid EP with some really well crafted and sort of unique ideas indeed. Going into the second album of Second Still though, it's one of those occasions where I didn't find that something. You cannot always have perfection, and in my opinion this release from Second Still is nothing all that different. It's really basic and standard post-punk sound and dark wave. It's not really all that engaging. Some of the sounds are just sort of generic and a bit typical. Mostly though what hurt in my opinion was the introduction, as I think that this is the weakest part of this album. The first two tracks, Mouse and New Violet, are extremely messy. Like it feels like the band was trying to go for something a bit more experimental with the first two tracks. The structures, the progressions were all over the place. There was not that much of a cohesion, that much of a steady pace. These two songs really seemed to hurt the album, and I was just hoping that not the rest of it was going to go into that direction, because it felt like a really failed attempt on trying to go to something a bit more like experimental and different, just by having some unnecessary sort of weird time structures. Fortunately, the album in my opinion goes in a better direction right with the next song, Double Negative. In my opinion, it's one of the best moments of the album, and this song is actually really straight to the point. It's a really straightforward song with your usual bass lines, and it has a standard post-punk sound. Even though it's not something all that impressive, it's definitely way better than the mess that was the two previous songs. This more simplistic approach on sound seems to work better for them, and fortunately the rest of the album doesn't try all that hard to portray something out there and experimental. The rest of the album goes to some of the more chill and usual stuff that you can find in a cold wave style album. There is an 80s post-punk vibe with the bass lines and the synths as expected from an album of this genre. The other occasion where the album goes into a bit of a different direction but actually works this time is with the track Second No One, which is actually my favorite one of the album. This song sounds more aggressive, way more energetic. It's more blood pumping with some really intriguing structures, some really nice melodies, and some really good horns at the second leg of the song. This jazzy post-punk approach really enhances the experience. The rest of the track listing is more basic and usual, but fortunately something not all that messy, like with the song Spiders and Spice, The Future, Eternal Love, and the final song Idyll, which is a nice finisher for the album. It's possibly the most chill moment out of the entire album, and it's the closest song in my opinion into old school post-punk vibes, especially with the sound of the guitar on this thing and its multiple effects, which sounds really amazing. The album is really short, it's about 29 minutes long, it's only 8 tracks. If you want something short and simple, it's a decent post-punk release. In my opinion though, you can find lots of better stuff that also sound more refreshing and more unique. Still not a bad album. If it wasn't for this really messy start, it could have been even better. I'm going to give this album a 6 out of 10. What's your opinion on this album? Like it, dislike it, why, and what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.